Ah. Hey, beautiful beings. Welcome in. My name is Lindsay Banks. I am a channeler and a spiritual mentor. And in this video, I want to talk about censorship and is the truth being told to you? Yeah, what is the truth? So for myself, I've just found things coming up into my awareness recently about ways that I have been censored over the last sort of not even a few years, but since I was younger, and where that censorship comes from. So this time last year, I had a slot on a local radio station. I'd been invited in. So somebody had seen the content on my YouTube channel and really enjoyed what I was talking about and asked if I would go onto their radio station, and basically said I was given freedom. I was told that I could talk about any topic that I liked. So I started the first episode talking about aliens and UFOs, which is a bit different for a local community radio station. But, I've always been one to bring different things to more conventional spaces. Now, by the fourth episode, I was interviewing a lovely young chap from the University of York Psychedelic Association. Now, he had set up this group. He had had his own experience with ayahuasca, and he had decided that to raise awareness, basically, of plant medicine. And he'd applied to the university or to this body to set up his own psychedelic group, which he was finally given permission for. And I think that the last count, they had over 600 members that I remember seeing. So myself and this chap were talking about ayahuasca. We were talking about microdosing on mushrooms. And I kept saying throughout the show, throughout the episode, just to let you know that I do not advocate the use of drug taking or irresponsible taking of drugs. 3 days later, I was asked into the director's office and was kindly told that it's probably best if I don't record any more episodes and that I receive the proper training that is needed for the radio station. I went away and I thought a lot about it. I was like, it's a massive opportunity. But actually, my feeling is that if there's a topic to be discussed, and to be explored, then to be told how to talk about something takes away for me the whole freedom of speech and the right to express yourself and speaking your truth as well. So I kindly declined the opportunity to continue with the radio station and instead carried on with my YouTube channel and talking about what I want to talk about and sharing my truth. Another experience for myself of censorship was to do with the national newspaper. So last year, I was approached by a lovely journalist who wanted to know more about my messages, my channelings with the likes of Winston Churchill, Princess Diana, etc. She'd pitched the idea to her editor, who at the time loved it. I had a makeup consultation over the phone. I had a hair consultation. I had a wardrobe consultation. So they invested quite a lot of time and energy into making sure I was wearing the right clothes, looking the right way. And I spent 3 hours with a photographer. He took loads and loads of shots, of me meditating with my tarot cards, with my crystals, with all the different tools that I use. And when it came to the day that it was meant to be released, nothing happened. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So the following week, the article was published, but without my story in it. And when I asked the journalist what had happened, she just said, oh, sometimes these things aren't published. So for myself, it felt as if maybe the story of Princess Diana and her message was maybe a bit too close to the bone, shall we say. So that was another example of not having my truth shared in the mainstream media, if you like. So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about censorship because, like I said, it's been coming up for myself, and a friend of mine shared a YouTube video, a brilliant YouTube video this morning with me again around censorship and how, the mainstream media, when they were set up, was about it was about sharing the truth to the people in the countries, you know, in this country, in the UK, in America, and every other country around the world. It was about sharing true stories. Yeah. It was about researching the facts and then actually delivering a story based on facts. Now, what I've found as well over the last few years, especially, is that these facts aren't being shared in the correct way. They're being warped, they're being changed. You know, it's not truth, yeah, effectively. And again, you know, I ran my first protest last August on behalf of freedom for the children. This was a Facebook group that had been set up by a lovely lady called Laura, and she was reaching out and just saying, you know, look, let's do these protests for the children. And I call it upstairs. My guidance said, you know, you need to do one yourself. So me and my friend Lizzie organised one last August, and a journalist contacted me the next day to say, look, you know, what is it that was happening? Why were you protesting? So I shared with him the story. I was like, I'm not really sure where to begin. I said, it's probably best for you to go and do some research on these various topics. So I mentioned, you know, paedophile rings, and I mentioned satanic cults, and I mentioned QAnon, and I mentioned all these different places where I'd got different bits of information from about what was going on. I said the reasons why I chose to do it was because I wanted to stand up for something that I believed in. I wanted to share information in a way that was truthful and in a way that people could access it and know what was actually going on. So there was no mention of these protests in any of the national newspapers at that time. So the next day, I then woke up to find an article in the newspaper with no facts in it. He hadn't done any research at all. He basically wrote what he wanted to write. He said, Lindsay Banks, conspiracy theorist, QAnon supporter, does this, yeah? There was absolutely no mention of missing children. There was no mention of paedophile rings. For me, a journalist will go away, find out the facts, yeah, of that story, and then share them. But he had basically twisted and warped every single word I said, which, you know, that's what he did. That's what he chose to do. Then the lady running the group as well, she was featured. A journalist from the Sunday Times had reached out to her and asked her why she'd started the group and asked her for her side of the story. Again, when the article came out, it was completely twisted and warped and was very much anti-truth. So as soon as I read that article, I reached out to Laura and I said, come and share your story. Tell people, you know, who you are and the reasons why you're involved. So I just wanted to share this video as a way of saying that, you know, what we are currently reading and being told, yeah, in the mainstream media, on the news, yeah, is not necessarily the truth. And this is where discernment comes in, okay? So we have to practice as individual beings, as part of our personal responsibility, to practice discernment when we are reading or watching articles, okay? There was a story last night which has sort of prompted me to do this in a national newspaper about a young lad who'd been killed. All I had to do was I read the headline, saw the photographs, and I knew in my heart that this boy, yeah, the story wasn't true. I knew there was a different motive behind what the newspapers were sharing with us. Okay. So everything that you see, even on YouTube, you know, even with me listening to me, it's like, well, is what she's saying feel real or does it not feel real to me? You know, I don't mind. But everything you see, everything you read, yeah, everything you hear, please practice discernment, okay? Feel into whether that story feels true for you or not, yeah? Rather than just taking something at face value. We're very much in this period right now where we have to question everything and everyone, yeah, in order to make sure that we are hearing the truth. And on the other side of the coin, that we are speaking our truth. So when we know something to not be true, how are we sharing that? Yeah. So, for example, rather than, you know, if you just say to someone, oh, the mainstream media, it's a lot of bullshit, that's not helping. Yeah. Why is it bullshit? Why should people be listening and reading to different things? You know, why should people start questioning it? So think about your own narrative when you're speaking your truth. Yeah. And when you're reading and hearing things, ask yourself, does that feel true to me? Because a lot of the stories that are out there at the minute, you know, and I've seen this myself, there's some brilliant people doing some brilliant videos on YouTube, you know, who are sharing the truth of what's going on. Yeah. But they're being censored. They're being kicked off YouTube. They're sharing stuff on Facebook. And I found this out last night as well. You share a post in Facebook, boom. If it's about something that's the truth, yeah, the chances of it being shown to anyone else are like this. Nil to slim. Yeah. If you're sharing something, I've lost my train of thought now. But yeah, so people are being censored right now. And the reason people get censored and why their stuff is not allowed to be shared is because they are sharing their truths. Yeah. People don't like it. People don't want to be found out for doing things or saying things. People are scared. So, yeah, whenever you are reading something, hearing something, ask yourself, does this feel true? Yeah. Because the chances are, if it's in like any of the national newspapers or one of the mainstream channels, the chances of it being really true are nil to slim. So I just want to share that with you guys. A little bit around censorship and speaking the truth. If you've enjoyed this video, awesome. If you want to find me, you can check out my YouTube channel, which is just Lindsay Banks, and you can find my website at lindsaybanks.uk. So for now, have a fabulous day. If it's snowing where you are, like it is here, have a fabulous snow day, and I will see you in the next video. Namaste.